You are live.
Okay. Everybody go.
Oh, wait.
Bonjour,よろしくお願いします。Thank you. Ohayou gozaimasu. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our All Roy's Memorial Service, which is when we remember all those who have died during around this time. My name is Kevin Carwater, and I'll be the chairperson for today. Please join me for a minute of silent meditation. Namo. We will now have Church chanting Shoshinke, which is on page 20 in the Red Service books. Will everyone please gasho before Church chanting?
인도 사이텐 시룡에 주가 지지기시고서 엔다이 쇼코세 쇼리 요요라이 혼제로키 샤요라이 요가세 이슈고묘 남겐지 그리지다이지 실토세 진노자이 마음은 템테아이 조무조호 조간비지 조안타크 겐지 남교로크로크 진교이교 시도라크 오크넨 미다르 홍강 니넨 소크지 뉴힌조 이로조소료라이고 오호라이 유세요 땡진보사 조롱세 기묘하게 고려라이 에슈타라 겐신지 고세고조 다이세양 고일 공간 비기에고 이도능조 소이시 기뉴그로크라이고 가이 딩라그뉴나이에 슈슈 도시랭내조 세카이 도시쇼신요 고쇼시 일본도린 겐진즈 일쇼지온지오게 온지존난 교텐시 조고란쇼 보사라이 상소리 시지조교 온쇼 생묘 기락구모 겐진보사론주에 오도인가 겐세양 오겐게 고일다리 소조시 지신진 왕생모물 신빙고 쇼지 수대항 이시불교고묘도 서울주정 갈등계 도시학계쇼 도단쇼 유묘조도 각승유 만생지기 행범슈 행망토구도 간센쇼 상들상신계온거 도마공의 도티 이쇼도 아그지유세 시안묘가이쇼묘가 된다 높으며 르쇼이 고아이조산묘약그아크 어명명어 개민된 아이유 온난다이치다 여자쇼질 공도시 여기 지내소고 요리가이토 약삼니 서크쇼 모쇼시료라 겐신코 가이시라이토 랭기안료 가이사이 센서실신 한센진 호텔리도 쇼벤뷰 도끼지라그니 의쇼들 다이아트사이티 세슈츠 온서쇼겐스이 그겐 나이티 무겐 조쇼가 온지겐 뜨려 득교 햇민젠마크 범느니 진실교쇼 고해슈 생자크 모담 그라프세 에나이쇼 기린겐게 백지기조 이쇼시 석근일 약기조 의리라 일지신대기로유 유교다이기 슈시고 조사인의 노적그라프 노적그리 슈요시 유이가신시 皆行部のこの方は、今にこお手前に、お心の降臨気はもなく、世の名を照らすなり、知恵の光明明みなし、無料の所相ことごとく、東京神楽物話、新人病に起業せよ、枝の降臨気はもなし、ごとくがるものは皆、海を花の述べたのを、領土各に起業せよ、おるねよく、一切の胸に騒ぎなし、大田区神楽のもとなき、男子を起業せよ、少女巧妙なみなし、不死法の入れたれば、一切の法でのことに一行へを起業せよ、年功少女最大一、応援のルと名付けたり、三途の不安開くなり、大丈夫を起業せ。何日の具、平等正祭、老来心、お許上
We'll now have Pandana Tiswana on page 17 and the three churches on page 18, which will be led by Imban Inor. Please rise if you're able to do so at this time.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa buddham saranam gacchami dhammam saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Difficult is it to receive life in human form. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma. Now we have hear it. We hear it. If we do not receive awakening in the present life, then in what life can we hope to receive it? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we together as one begin on the great path of enlightenment, holding in our hearts the supreme aspiration. I take refuge in the Dharma. Most together as one, enter the storehouse of the Dharma and attain wisdom deep ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we together as one, uniting in harmony,
strive to live for the enlightenment of all beings. The incomparable, deep, and profound Dharma is difficult to encounter, even through countless ages of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us endeavor to thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Buddha Dharma. Namamida Butsu, Namamida Butsu, Namamida Butsu.
Please be seated. We'll now have today's message from Minban Inoue.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending All World's Memorial Service at Higashi Honganji Mission of Hawaii. Last Monday, on May 18th, I visited the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, usually called Panchipole, and participated in Hawaiian Buddhist Council's Memorial Day service for the first time. It was a very memorable experience for me. Before coming to Hawaii last August, one of my American friends in Kyoto presented me a book, this one, very, very thick book. And he said, this is a good book to read on the plane, which he said is interesting and very informative about Japanese American history and culture in Hawaii. The book is entitled Facing the Mountain, a true story of Japanese American heroes in World War II. And this is written by Daniel James Brown, based on a real interview to those Nisei soldiers who participated in the World War II. And especially he focused on 442nd Regimental Combat Team. And before I go to visit the Panchipole, I searched the internet and do some research, and it says more than 3,000 soldiers who died from this 442nd Regimental Combat Team were buried there. And those who survived the Second World War II, those heroes, they are also buried. And one of the most famous ones buried there is Daniel K. Inoue, who is a hero and long-time United States Senator. He was senator from 1963 to 2012, so almost 50 years. And he, in this book, his words are recorded many times, and I was moved by his braveness in the battle. He lost his right arm when he covered the German grenade. So he lost right arm. And before that, originally he wanted to become a medical doctor. He planned to go to university and follow that medical doctor's path. But because he lost his right arm, he changed his direction and became statesman, senator. And he was awarded the Medal of Honor from President Clinton in the year 2000. And in that year, he stated in one of the interviews, and he emphasized the following: I learned on the battle that war is not about glory. It is about suffering and death. As a US Senator, I have tried my best to prevent and avoid war. As he said, Daniel K. Inoue was consistently voted against wars. For example, he voted no to Persian Gulf War in 1990. At that time, the president was Father Bush, George H.W. Bush. And again, in 2002, he voted against Iraq War. So he was not Buddhist. He was born Christian. His parents were Japanese American, and they were Christian. But they educated Daniel K. Inoue based on Japanese values and also Christian values, religious values. So his attitude, he fought the war as American citizen bravely, and he lost his right arm, but he was consistently against war and violence. So for religious ideal, based on religious ideal, religious principle, I think, whether you are Christian or Buddhist or Islam, we are against war and violence. To resort to violence and military power in national conflict. And in that, I'd like you to read this Reverend Stephen Teroshima's article entitled, "What is the Most Precious Thing?" in the May issue of Gua. He wrote this for the Memorial Service Month. He was conscious of the significance of the month of May as a Own Wars Memorial Day month. And if you can read this at home, but I'd like to, he quotes Buddhist episode, Shakyamuni Buddha's day. There was a conflict between Shakyamuni Buddha's own tribe, Shakya tribe, and his neighboring tribe, Korea, about the water. The water of the Rohini River dried up because of the sun and no rain, and they were agricultural countries, so they fought about this lack of water, the Rohini River's water. One insisted that Shakyans should take this limited water, and Koreans were against that, and they almost started fighting with weapons. And Shakyamuni realized this conflict, and he went there and asked questions to the fighters, the warriors. And his question is this title: what is the most precious thing? Water or the blood of your sons and fathers? Which is more important, blood or water? And they realized blood of human beings are more important than water. So they stopped the war. They didn't resort to this war about the solution of this conflict. And they agreed to share the limited amount of water, Rohini River's water. So in this episode, it is shown that when wisdom arises, like Buddha's words, weapons are laid down and peace prevails. That's very important, and that's a good episode that Shakyamuni could prevent war, bloodshedding war. This is a good episode, but the other one in his days, Shakyamuni's days, after this incident, there was a Kosalan empire, neighboring empire grew bigger and bigger, and the Shakyans tribe was perished by the Kosalans. Shakyamuni Buddha tried to stop it, but in the end, he couldn't stop all the killing of the Shakyans, his own tribe. He tried to stop it, but he couldn't, because the hatred among human beings is so deep and tenacious. It's not easy to forget about this long-lasting conflict between tribes and countries. If you think about what is happening now in the world, especially in the Middle East, the hatred among each nation, Israel and Palestine, it's not easy to solve this conflict. Why human beings can do such a violent thing to kill so many people because of our long-lasting hatred, and we cannot forget about those emotions. But Buddha said, don't respond to the hatred with hatred. You have to remember this compassion and love to stop this long-lasting conflict. That's a very important religious principle, I think. And in Buddhism, the most important principle is no killing, ahimsa. No killing or no hurting, injuring. This is the most important Buddhist principle. And in the Pure Land tradition, our tradition, it is also the most important value, no killing and no hell. Killing each other, human beings killing each other based on hatred is the hell. That creates hell in this world. So, Hozo Bodhisattva Dharmakara, in his first vow, aspired to create a Buddha land where there is no hell. That's very important, I think. And at HBC, Hawaiian Buddhist Council's Memorial Day service, we chanted Tambutsuge, Sambutsuge. Sambutsuge is the summary of Hozo Bosatsu's vow in verse form. And in that vow, Hozo Bosatsu said, if you remember, if you have read service book, it's on page 59, line 3. Hozo Bosatsu's vow is that when he becomes a Buddha, he creates great peace. Isa Dayan. Dayan is great peace for all those who are trembling in fear. Isai Kuku, Isa Dayan. So, in his days, Hozo Bosatsu, before he became this Buddhist monk, pursuing the goal of becoming a Buddha, he was a king of a country. So he knows how difficult it is to be a king in the actual society. So he wished for this great peace, making great peace, and in his Buddha land, there is no hell. That was his earnest desire, earnest wish. And he realized that and became Buddha, Amida Buddha. So in Skhavati, there is no hell. Also in the larger sutra, it is stated that wherever the Buddha goes, Buddha is present. The land prospers, the people live in peace, and there is no need for soldiers nor weapons. Kokufu means hyoga muyo in Japanese. So the Buddha's presence, Buddha's teaching can create that kind of situation, conditions. And it's not only Buddhism, I think, the Christian value Islam's value peace and happiness of all people. And Reverend Hiroshima quoted Pope Leo XIV message in his speech. I read that part. Pope Leo said in April, "May the madness of war cease and the earth be cared for and cultivated by those who still know how to create, safeguard, and love life." So these are basic religious ideals we share in our religions. And Shinran Shonin agrees, I think, with Pope Leo XIV. In his last letters, one of his last letters, Shinran Shonin wrote, "Yononaka andon nare buppo hiromare." So may the world be peaceful and the Buddha Dharma prevail. So that was Shinran Shonin's aspiration, wish for us all. So on this year's All Wars Memorial Day, we would like to share the aspiration of Hozo Bosatsu, Issai Kuku Isa Dayan, to create great peace, and Shinran Shonin's hope expressed in one of his letters, may the world be peaceful and the Buddha Dharma prevail. 世の中安穏なれ、仏法広まれ。少し日本語で、お話しいたします。All Wars Memorial Day Service、こちらに来るまで、日本で言いますと、全戦没者追悼の法要ということになるかと思いますけれども、5月にこういう最後の週の月曜日に、戦争で亡くなった方々の、追悼慰霊のための法要があるということを日本に行くときは知りませんでした。ただ、ハワイ来る前にアメリカ人の友人がハワイへ行くんだったら読んでおいた方がいいと言って飛行機の中で読みなさい、読めばいいと言ってもらったんですけれど、Facing the Mountains という、本です。で、この中に、日系2世の、第二次世界大戦中ヨーロッパ戦線で非常に勇敢に戦って大勢亡くなったわけですけれども、442部隊の、お話がですか、実際の兵士、戦った人たちの発言が記録されていて、で、非常に多くの方が亡くなったわけですけれども、この間、5月18日にパンチボールの、名前はこれ正式にはナショナルメモリアルセメトリー・オブ・ザ・パシフィックというところへ初めてそこで法要にお勤めに参加させていただいて、そこに3000人以上この第二次世界大戦中に日系の部隊でヨーロッパ戦線で戦った人たちが埋葬されているということで、敬意を表することができました。で、その中で一番有名なその生き抜いて、その後、アメリカの政治家として、上院議員として活躍された、ダニエル・K・井上上院議員も、そこに埋葬された、ハワイ州の知事も務められた方ですけれども、その人の言葉として、2000年にそのメダル・オブ・オナーという最もアメリカで名誉のある勲章をビル・クリントン大統領から授けられたその年ですけれども、井上上院議員は、自分が戦場で見たこと、習ったことっていうのは、戦争というのは栄誉とかそういうことではなくて、苦しみと死だ。だから自分は上院議員の間、ずっと戦争を避けるように、戦争に入らないように、そういうふうに、努力してきたと、私の全力を尽くしてきたというふうに2000年にお話しされています。で、実際に1990年の湾岸戦争の時も、それから2002年、3年からの、イラクをアフガニスタンの戦いの時も、反対、非常に少数派です。当時、戦争に反対するというよりは、一旦戦争ってことになると、大勢の議員がそちらに動く中で、最後まで その反対の投票を投じた非常に限られた議員の一人が、井上議員だったということで、非常にどうしてそういう志を貫くことができたかというと、日系の教育を受けたということと、キリスト教、ご両親がクリスチャンで、宗教的なそういう価値観というものも、大切に育てられた。でそういう中で、人を殺したり傷つけたりすることは絶対にあってはならないということを、実際に戦場にいてそれを経験して痛感されたんだと思います。で、その関係で5月がそのメモリアルデーの、月だということで、ニュースレター、別のニュースレターにスティーブン豊島会教師が書かれているこのリーダーアーティクルもお読みいただければ、ブッダの時代の話ですけれども、釈迦族とコリア族という、お隣の部族同士が争って、それは水争いだったんですけれども、浪費川っていう川の水がどちらがその干ばつの時にそれを農業のために使えるかということでもう一触即発戦争になるところをブッダが釈迦がそこに現れて、水と兵隊の血とどっちが大事なんだということを問いかけて、でみんなが熱くなっていって戦争になりそうだった人たちがそこで思いとどまって協議をして、その限られた水を分け合って使うようにした、そういうエピソードを紹介されています。そういうことで、仏教の最も大事な原則、生きていく時の原則は不殺生、アヒンサーということですけれども、浄土教でいうと、浄土真宗の場合には法蔵菩薩の願い、本願の一番最初、第一願が無三幕種、地獄餓鬼畜生のない世界を作りたい。ですから阿弥陀仏の浄土というのはどういうふうに願われて作られたかっていうと、一番はその阿弥陀仏の浄土の中には地獄も餓鬼も畜生もない。それは、戦争の地獄ですね。戦争が作り出すような地獄、物質の欲望に振り回される餓鬼、そういう世界、それから自由のない動物のようにこき使われるような、そういう世界、そういう存在がない世界を作りたいということで、特にこの地獄がないということは戦争がないということに直結しているかと思います。そういう意味で浄土は武器も兵隊も用いない、必要のない、存在しないそういう世界として願われているということが非常に大事なところだと思います。それから、親鸞上人で言いますと、親鸞上人が最後のお手紙の中で、ご消息の中で、世の中安穏なれ、仏法広まれという言葉を、関東の門弟の方に書かれています。世の中が安穏、平和であって、穏やかであって、仏の教えが広まってほしい。仏の教えが広まるということが世の中の安穏につながるということも関係していると思いますけれども、そういうメッセージを残されています。そういう意味で、この All Wars Memorial Day、月曜日、明日が実際のメモリアルデーですけれども、2026年、そういうことを考えながら、戦争で亡くなっていかれた方の、追悼をするっていう、悼むっていうことと、もう一つはその方々が本当は生きたかったと思いますし、どんなに苦しい亡くなり方をされたかってことを思うと、腕を失った人もいるわけですし、今後の私たちにできることっていうのは、そういう痛ましい戦争のない平和な世界を願っていくことではないかということが、今日の、ダルマメッセージであります。ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Thank you, Iman. I'll go over some of the announcements that will be happening over the next few weeks. On Tuesday, May 26th at 3 p.m., we'll be having our ukulele band practice here in person and on Zoom. Also on the 26th at 5:30, we have dinner and movie night in the conference room, and we'll be viewing Mourning for the Ozone family, which was released in 1946. On the 28th at 10 a.m., we'll have our monthly Shiwan Shonin Memorial Service held in person and on Zoom. On the 31st at 10 a.m., we'll have our Sunday service held in person and on Zoom and then YouTube. Going into June, on June 3rd at 5:30 p.m., we'll have a karaoke night held here at the Betsuin in person and on Zoom. On the 7th, we will have our June Sosuke Memorial Service held in person and on Zoom. Also on the 7th at 11:30, we'll be holding our photography club meeting in the conference room. Are there any other announcements? We will now have Gata Ondoku-san on page 112 in your service books. Please rise if you are able to do so at this time. This concludes our Always Memorial Service. Thank you all for attending and hope to see you next Sunday.